Lovely. Fantastic. Well, fantastic. Well done. The Mornington singers and their glasses of water. I gather you were all under strict instruction not to take even the slightest sip, because it would completely change the pitch, isn't that right? This is Orla, Dr. Orla Flanagan, who is the director of the choir. And I also want to invite on stage to have a few quick words Lynne Parker, who is artistic director of Rough Magic Theatre Company, and also Brian Lawlor, who's co-director of the Global Brain Health Institute here at Trinity. And we're going to talk about a collaboration that you've been involved in with Orla. Just first of all, Orla, maybe just a little bit about the piece. Lynne will pass you the microphone there.
Yes,
you might just tell us about it.
Thank you. So the name of the piece is Stars, and it's by Latvian composer Eriks Eschenvalds. It was composed in 2011. And we hope you know what the piece was about, but it's a text by Sarah Teasdale, poet, and it's basically about the wonder and awe of being in under a starry sky at night time. So I have to say we had a lot of fun with the glasses, with the tuning. Oh my goodness, yeah, it was the process.
A little more, a little less, a little more.
Yeah,
a little less.
and the process of preparing it and making sure that all the tuning of the pitches. There are 6 different pitches that the wine glasses are tuned to. So do try it at home. So thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Orla. Maybe if I might pass the microphone to Brian, because I want you to explain to us why you're in collaboration with a theatre director and a choir.
Well, that's a very good question. You're asking a psychiatrist that. Yeah. So it's just a delight and a pleasure to be working with Rough Magic and also the Long Room Hub. And I need to tell you a little bit about the Global Brain Health Institute so you can understand why we're actually working together. So the Global Brain Health Institute was founded in 2015. It was a generous donation from Atlantic Philanthropies Chuck Feeney. We're based here at Trinity College Dublin, but also University of California, San Francisco. And really what we're about is trying to tackle the major societal challenge of dementia and try to improve brain health, the threats to brain health globally. Now, the main part of our program is a leadership training program, and we bring people from all over the world at early or mid-career from different professions to train up in terms of brain health and prevention and dementia prevention. So we have scientists, neuroscientists, clinicians, neurologists, psychiatrists, but we also have artists and architects. And really, we believe very, very strongly that we have to break down the silos, the professional silos, if we're really going to tackle brain health and improve the outlook for people with dementia. And again, when you see a choir like this performing like this on song, you see the power of music and the power of music for the brain. And we believe that music and art can improve brain health and protect the brain. And we want to work with artists like Rough Magic and work with arts and humanities so we can better understand how we can improve the narrative, change the narrative for people with dementia. So it's been tremendous so far. I think we're learning from you. We're bringing over our creative artists. They want to learn how to actually do narrative, try to improve, change the narrative. But I also hope that we will be able to teach you or help you a little bit in terms of the brain science about what's happening here for the choir when they connect together, but also the synchrony that people here feel and the joy and the positive emotions that people feel when this happens, when it all comes together.
Yeah. Lynne, what's been your experience of this? Tell us a little bit about your involvement.
Okay, I'm going to go back a bit in time, really to around the time, not long after the hub was imagined, and at the time of the economic crash. And we, as a theatre company, thought, look at the state of the place. We kind of thought we love to investigate the great classic stories and the great works of theatre history, but there comes a time when it is essential to look at the moment. And we wanted to make a piece of theatre that really addressed how we arrived at this, whether we did it to ourselves, whether it was done to us, but something had happened and something had changed. And of course, when I say look at the moment, that is quite some years ago, and the moment extends. But as recent events have shown, the kind of disillusionment and despair that was felt at the time of the crash has, mutated in some ways to a kind of frustration and desire for transformation, as we have talked about quite a bit this evening. So we looked at lots of subjects, the GAA, funeral directors, all sorts of different aspects or prisms through which we could view the nation. And we kept coming back to choirs, which was kind of obvious for us because it is essentially a performance as well. And the minute we started looking, it became really clear this was gold dust because, of course, choral participation happens all over the island, north and south of the border, across spectrums of gender, age, social background, and there are so many different forms of choirs. And I mean, we are very blessed with the Mornington this evening. Literally, the music of the spheres, absolutely stunning. But not all choirs are like this. Some community choirs come together for social reasons. Some are about the music, not all of them. And we just wanted to look at this activity and try and see who we are through that particular lens. And so we're, about 18 months ago, we were on tour around Ireland and we started meeting choirs around the country. And the material is just vast. So we had an idea, but it really only started to come together when I had a conversation with Jane Allmeyer, which is a very dangerous thing to do. And she put me in touch with Brian and the GBHI. And to be honest, this has been the trigger. This has been the absolute catalyst for making this piece because we have been resident in the hub and we've had meetings with Brian and his colleagues and are having more. And the more we go around the country and research and get the stories, the more we can feed back to them and give them stuff to think about as well. Mm-hmm. So that's really kind of where we are. And we have now, we're still in very early stages of this, but we've asked the Mornington to prepare a piece which is the very, very first iteration of this theatre piece, which we intend to produce at the end of next year. So they're going to do a piece written by Amy Conroy, who is our writer. Mm-hmm. There's four of us, Amy and Danny Ford, who is writing the music, and Roland Phelan, who's going to direct the piece, and myself. And Amy's written some text, and Danny has written some music, and this is the first time we've ever heard it in public. So Rough Magic is kind of nervous. But we couldn't be more blessed with these people and with Orla. So they're going to perform a piece, the name of which, for the moment, is Crumlin 3:50 a.m. Right. So I'll hand over to Orla.
To Orla again. And thank you to Lynne and to Brian. Thanks so much, guys. And Orla.
This year, now, Ireland, 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 this year, now. Ireland, this year, now. Ireland, this year, now. Ireland, good thinking holidays again. Ireland, this year, now. Working clowns for communion parties. Amen. This year, now. People building, decking in the back, updating cars. This year, now. People have short memories, short memories. Christmas across skylines. then.
Thank you so much for that wonderful performance, and to Lynne and Brian. And we look forward, Lynne, to seeing the production. You said at the end of this year, end of next year. So that's something to look forward to in 2021.